At the start of this movie, Elemental, we can see a fictional city where people made up of all elements, like water, fire, sand, gas, are living together. Today, a new fire couple came to live here. They get a ticket to live in this city, but this journey is not easy. Because the other elements that live in this city consider fire as a danger for them. When this new fire couple catch a train, the fire lady collides with water guy by mistake, and she almost loses her eyes. The firemen then give his lady a piece of wood so her eye can be saved. Here we come to realize it is really difficult for two elements to live together without chaos. No one was giving them a condo for rent as everybody considered them a threat. They were moving around in hope of finding a home. At last, they find a ruined old building. In this tough time, this was their only option. They purchase this building and work on it day and night to make it their new home. Now, with the arrival of their newborn baby named Ember, the fire couple was really happy. They reveal to their daughter that the blue light is the biggest strength in their life. Never let it extinguish ever. And now the story moves a little forward. In a few years, they renovate the building and name it as the fireplace. They make it a cafe and grocery store that serves only fire people. Now, as years pass by, other fire people also came to this city and settle here. Now Amber has grown up after all this time. She helps her dad in the store. And the duo of dad and daughter use wood to make lava ball and wood chips. This snack is loved by fire people, but Ember's dad was starting to get old. Now he couldn't run the store, so he was trying to retire and make Ember the new store owner and manager. He told Ember that this store is the dream of our family, never let it break. This is your responsibility now. At first, it seemed like she can handle the store just fine, but soon her temper became a hurdle for her. She gets irritated quite easily. If someone misbehaves with her or if too many customers come to the shop, she gets furious and bursts fire everywhere. Her fire sometimes burnt the whole store up. Her dad tries to calm her down and teach her. Sometimes customers are weird and annoying, but to handle them, you should take a deep breath and make a connection with them. Amber starts nodding her head as she understood him. Next day, she tries to run the store by herself, and this time without any error as well. But as the day goes by and customers' rush increases, she gets furious again and loses her temper. She didn't want it to burn the store again, so she closes her mouth with her hands and went to the basement. And here she let it all out. The flames were everywhere. And this time she finds herself in big trouble. As her flames burst rusted water pipes, the whole basement gets filled with water. Here, a water guy named Wade also burst out of this mess. Unfortunate for the fire lady, he was also the city inspector. He inspects the whole place and writes many citations and complaints for her store. He threatens her that he will give this report to his senior in order to seal this place. Ember wanted to stop him from doing this. She follows her in order to steal the report from him. She catches the train and tries to come closer to him, but fails to do so. Now the train reached the city downtown. She keeps on following him and tries one last trick on him by showing her anger, but he passes her easily and sends the complaint through the tube. Now she sat on the stairs and starts talking to herself, how his dad will recover from it. He is not a good daughter. He failed his dad. Listening to all this, the inspector feels sad for her and makes a plan to help her. He takes her to his senior and tries to cancel the report. But Amber loses her temper here as well and ruins the office. This worsens the matter as the senior now refrains from helping her and sends the report anyway. Now, in a dull mood, Ember reaches her home. All the customers were already gone, and his dad was repairing the leakage. Her mom was very sad. She says, "We can't endure all of this again." Ember asks, "What happened in the past? Tell me." The mother tells her the past story. Before living in the elemental city, we used to live in our own island where all fire people lived together in harmony. Everyone had their own blue light. But one day, a big storm destroyed their land. All the blue light were diffused. But only Ember's dad was able to save their blue light. Now he didn't want it to live there as it was dangerous for all of us. He left that island and came here and never met his family again. We can't bear another loss of losing this store as we worked really hard for this. Listening to all this, Ember decides that she will make sure to correct all of her mistakes and run this store. Next day, she meets water guy named Wade in the city hall. She tells him the whole situation. Now Wade took her to his boss. The cloud boss was busy in watching the match, and Ember was trying to get her favor. As a result, they both get furious. They were about to fight, but Wade distracts them and brings their attention to the match. Here, Cloud's favorite team was about to lose, but Wade makes all the people cheer for the team, and this makes them win the match. Cloud Inspector becomes really happy and forgets about the fight. Here, Wade tries to convince her not to close Ember's shop, as the leakage reason is not the shop, but somewhere in the sewer. After this, they both come to Ember's home, and they try to figure out the reason of the leakage. Ember asks him, "Where were you searching for leakage when you came to my home?" He replies, "I was checking for water leakage near the dam." Then suddenly the water flew from the sewer and sent me to the tunnel, and I heard the sound of the big explosion, and the next thing I saw was your house. Listening to all this, Ember suspects that the dam could be the reason why this water is leaking. They both enter in the fire balloon at the rooftop, and they flew to the dam. Suddenly, Ember gets sad while looking at a big, abandoned building. She tells Wade that she wanted to see the unique flower at the exhibition that took place in this building, but water people didn't allow them to come inside. This time, Ember and Fade felt a different sensation for each other. She asks Wade, "How do you make connection with people so easily?" And she can't even make connection with a customer. Finally, they reach the dam, and again, a new wave of water is about to leak. She gets worried about Fire People's town. With Dave's help, she quickly stops the leakage. With cement bags, they successfully stop the water. In the heat of the moment, Dave asks her to hang out tomorrow. Ember agrees and comes back to the store. After meeting with Dave, her anger issues are almost gone. She was dealing with customer in a happy, gentle manner. This was because of Dave's company. They start seeing each other daily. They watch a movie, they go on different trips, take pictures in a camera booth, and enjoy a lot. They come quite close and start develop feelings. Meanwhile, that water leakage erupts again, and Dave gets to know about it. He manages to come to Ember's home to warn her and asks her to help him close the leak again. But his dad caught him in his home. When Ember's dad came to know that Wade is a sewerage inspector, he was about to kill him, but Wade lies and tells him that I am a food inspector. Due to this, he has to eat wood chips and lava balls, and somehow manages to get away. Later that evening, they both come to dig sandbags and block the leakage. During digging, Ember gets furious again and bursts flames. Because of this, she accidentally makes glass with sand. She gets an idea. They take the sandbags to the leakage, and with her fire, she turns all the sand into sturdy mirror and blocks the leakage. She gets home and was very happy. Now her dad meets her and says, "I am noticing a new change in you. You are dealing with everyone with professionalism and happy gesture. This is a really good thing. Always stay like this and keep this shop your first priority." Listening to all this emotional talk, Ember tries to contact Cloud Boss to let her know that the problem is solved and there is no need to close her shop. Ember went to Dave's house, but Ember's mother smells her love scent and gets suspicious and starts following her. To find out about the guy Ember fell in love with, when Ember reached Dave's home, she came to know that her shop's decision has not changed yet. She gets sad. Dave invites her for dinner with his family. She accepts and enters the house. Ember enjoys her time with Dave's family. Meanwhile, she receives the call from Cloud Boss that her shop's closing application is canceled. Her happiness was through the roof. Everything was going fine, But she suddenly realizes that she can't be with Water Guy as they are both different elements. Dave asks her about the issue, but she doesn't tell him anything. Dave sat with her and she went home. Her mom also figures out that her lover is a water guy. She tells Ember to stay away from water people. Your father will never accept it. Ember replies, he is just my friend, don't worry. Her mother replies, I can smell the love scent, don't lie to me. Water and fire can never be friends. They can't get married. If you don't believe me, then come with me, I will prove it to you. She takes them to a special room. She throws magical water on them and asks them to fire the candle. Ember did it easily, but Dave was made out of water. It was difficult for him to fire the stick. He uses his intelligence, and with his reflection and Ember's light, he ignites the candle. Ember and her mother gets impressed by this. Here she realizes that their love is true, and I am wrong here. Meanwhile, Ember's dad wakes up. They sent Dave away. Now, Ember's dad explains that he will retire in 2 days from the shop, and he is finally making Ember the shop owner. Ember was happy in front of them. But deep down, she knew this is not for her. She wanted to tell them about her feeling, but hesitates to hurt them. Next day, she went to Dave's house to announce their breakup, but Dave had other plans in mind. Wade wanted to take her to the ruined building and make her see the unique flower that she always wanted to see. With the help of Cloud Boss, Ember could survive in an air bubble in water for 20 minutes. Wade takes her to that building and unique flower. Ember felt amazing looking at her childhood dream. She never imagined it. Her dream was fulfilled. 18 minutes went by. Air was almost finished. Ember's life was in danger. Wade endangers his life to save Ember's. They made their journey back just in time. He apologized to Ember for this incident. But Ember was so happy and amazed she didn't even listen. She was explaining how she wanted to see this, and thanks Dave for this whole journey. Seeing her, Wade also gets happier. Wade wanted to take this moment a step further. He asks her to shake his hands, but she hesitates, saying water and fire can't touch. It could be disastrous. But Wade gives her confidence, and she finally agrees when they finally touch. Miraculously, both of them were safe. But soon Ember realized that this can't go on forever. She is not compatible with Wade. Her family will never accept it. She gets away from Dave saying, we can't do this. We are not made for each other. Our story ends here. She gets home and gets a surprise party from his dad for the grand reopening of the fireplace, as she is becoming the new owner. Her father was about to announce Ember as the new owner, but Wade comes here just in time. He says, Ember, we might have 1,000 reasons to break up, but we have one strong reason to stay together. That is, we love each other. I love you, Ember. During this talk, Ember's dad also came to know that the water pipe burst that happened in their shop was due to Ember's fault. Listening to all this, he gets disappointed and sad. Ember broke all of his hope as she is not fit to run the shop. Moreover, because she was dating a water guy, her dad gets furious. He gets away saying, I am not taking the retirement now. I will continue to run the shop after this incident. Ember gets mournful and depressed as why she couldn't be the best daughter that her father deserved. She comes to a bridge and spends some alone time with herself. She spots the dam leakage, which she repaired with glass, is now shattered. And this time, a huge flood is coming straight to Fire People's town. She hurries back to her town to alert the people of the situation. Her parents save themselves in time, but her dad cared about the blue light more than his life. He asks Ember to save the light. She wanted to be a good daughter. She tries to save the light to win back her parents' love. Ember tries her best to not let the water enter their shop and extinguish the blue light, but she ends up failing. Suddenly, Dave also comes to help her. She tasks Wade to stop water from coming through the door, and she goes to make glass barrier with sand to protect the blue light. But more water enters in the shop from the window, and suddenly all the shop gets submerged in the water, and they are shoved in a cave. Ember thought that her light is extinguished, but Dave had already saved the light. Now Ember blocks all the water holes to stop water from entering the cave. Because all the air holes were closed, the cave's temperature was rising, and it was difficult for Dave to survive. He started evaporating. Ember tells Wade to go out of the cave from the chimney, but suddenly, the chimney also breaks, and that way was also blocked. Ember tries her best to make a way so that Dave can survive, but it was too late. Wade was dying in front of her eyes. She finally accepts her love for Wade and says, "I can't live in a world without you." "I love you, Wade." They both hugged. Now the scene shifts to aftermath of the water wave. The beautiful elemental city is now ruined. As the wave settles down, Ember's parents come to save their daughter in the shop. She was crying, holding the blue light in her hand. She tells her parents, "Wade saved me. He saved this blue light, but he sacrificed his life for me. He is gone." Her mom tries to calm her. She was so sad. She gets the courage to finally tell the truth to her dad. She says, "Dad, I don't want to run this shop. I was doing all of this just because of you." Listening to all this, her dad replies, "My dream was never the shop, Ember. It was you. You were my dream. You can do whatever you want. Just stay happy." In the back, we can hear water noise from the cave. They realize that Dave is still alive. He is not dead. He just evaporated due to heat. As the temperature settled, he came back to his form. Now finally they both hugged each other. Her parents are happy for them too, and the movie finally ends with a happy ending.